Up everybody, Aaron the Dog back with breakdown number 2 of the week. Bellator 275, aka Bellator Dublin, headlined by the Irish faithful themselves, Gegard Mousasi and Austin Vanderford, and that is by way of Holland and America. But we'll definitely talk about overall the card a little bit. We'll just kind of talk about that right off the bat. Weird card, a lot of last minute. Last changes with regards to the order. We have Leah McCord in the co-main event now against Sinead Kavanagh. So Bellator, sometimes gets accused of copying the UFC. They're almost doing that with their co-main event. I'd take this co-main event over Wellington Turman and Misha Serkinov.
It's about on par, isn't it?
I think I'd take this over it, honestly. That is a terrible co-main event. But go Wellington Turman. Dog money, bark there. But enough about that UFC breakdown already on the channel here. We're here for Bellator 275, and it's a little bit up and down of a card. But what are your kind of overall thoughts, I guess?
I think there's some good people on it. People like Brett Johns, Brian Moore's on it. You got Magomedsharipov again, which is these up and comers.
You said Brian Moore? I love Brian Moore.
I like Brian Moore.
I love Brian Moore.
I love Brian Moore. And you got to mention an Irishman when it's in Ireland.
Yeah.
They're lacking Irish fighters, to be honest, on this card. You got Lee Hammond and Nathan Kelly and people like this, but they really had a chance to put some proper Irish people on this. And
not Ian Gary, not Dean Barry, obviously, because those guys are over in the UFC and. But it's still grateful to have the many cards to go over. We've got Bellator on Friday, the Challenger Series on Friday also, which I'll be going over with Lucky Locks picks tomorrow, as well as an LFA card, so double MMA on Friday for us, and then Saturday there's a UFC card, so headlined by a 160 catchweight fight, but. Enough about that. We're going to get into the breakdown here for Bellator 275, a.k.a. Bellator Dublin. Starting with kind of a classic Bellator prelim here. Sometimes the prelims are really, really awesome, and we got real quick Ahmad Kamal. Thank you for joining us, Ahmad. Team Saracom, definitely an interesting guy there, and has a really good fight on this card. One of the fights I'm most looking forward to, actually. And then Manny himself, MMA ideas. Many cards this weekend for sure. LOL. That's a good pun. Good job, Manny. This is why I will always support you. Well done. I appreciate a good pun. We're starting with a 1-0 versus a 2-0 in Lee Hammond and Jamie Haye. We do have we got an Irishman to start out the night. He's 1-0, taking on a 36-year-old out of Manchester, England, by way of Rio Grappling Club, Team Quantum. So not really too familiar with those. And the Haymaker, Jamie Haye. Real quick, his combined record of his two opponents was, let me just do the math real quick, 0-0 is 0 for the wins. And 5-7, okay, great. So 0-12 is the combined record of his opponents. Has not fought since February of 2020. As an amateur, he was very successful, 2-1, and fought somebody who has a victory. So combined, his opponents are 3-13 total. So that it's 36 and a half years old, been off for 2 years. That's about all I looked into there. Quick finishes, but still what? And then Lee Hammond here, 6 foot tall, is what right away stood out for me in this fight. Took on a 4-0 fighter in his first fight, knocked him out, and it was only in November of last year. This is at lightweight, by the way. I just kind of didn't really do too much more than that, but as an amateur, he has a couple of losses there by split, a lot of split, but IMMAF, I am familiar with as an amateur organization.
It's a very good organization.
Yeah. I believe our boy William Starks is from over there as well, and as others. But I would think Lee Hammond, younger, longer, crisper, and the Irishman is going to come out and have some fire to him. And Haye seems to have a weakness for facing guys with wins. So this is his first. It's just very odd to see in this. So I guess I would take Hammond. I saw the odds. No interest in a bet here.
No. Lee Hammond. What's sorry?
The odds, real quick, minus 650 on Lee Hammond.
Yeah, I was about to say
6.5 to 1.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. If you've seen Lee Hammond fight, like having the amount of amateur fights he's had is so good for your career. There's a lot of good
to that in a minute, Hammond. Sorry.
Oh yeah, mate, that's going to be a good one to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lee Hammond moves brilliantly, and Jamie Haye. I haven't seen his fights. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen them.
I mean, it's hard. I get it. Like I couldn't find him for one over here, but even so, watching tape of an 0-5 and 0-7, no matter what I'm going to see there,
you're not going to learn a lot, are you?
No. It's plain and simple. And
I've seen Lee live, so it's different
right.
for me.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got some strong shots. He's a young guy. I think it's just it's gonna be first round kind of victory for him. To be honest, it's gonna be similar to how a lot of his amateurs did go. As you say, a lot of splits and a lot of disagreements because at amateur level, judging is probably the same as the refs. They're not doing it as a full time job. It's
and primarily a grappler, correct?
Big time.
Yeah. Okay. So how overall to start his pro career with the KO, probably pretty significant also for him, I would think.
I think so. I think it's a good confidence booster.
Well. A 4-0 opponent, even if that 4-0 opponent's also kind of face similar levels. I'm looking forward to this one to see Hammond, but other than that, I don't think there's too much to say on my 650 favorite there. You can take a shot on Haye, but I'm not.
Also, the IMAFF pay fighters. It's the only amateur organization, I'm pretty sure, in Europe that pays.
Very good. That's very good.
That's why he had so many fights. That's why he had so many fights, because they get sponsorship money as well. Yeah. Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah. Minus 650. Yeah. Visceral laughing at. Good to see, as always, Visceral, our unofficial third co-host, almost, it feels like at this point. He's always in here. And then Many saying, you can't learn too much. 0-5, 0-7, they absolutely suck at fighting. I mean, he got the wins, but either way, this definitely is his biggest test. I would expect it to go the way of the Irishman there. Moving on to the next fight. We're starting out with a few Irishmen, so good for them. We've got Nathan Kelly taking on Scott Peterson in this one. I think this could be a very good fight. Even though it's a couple guys with a couple losses on the record, 1-2 versus 3-2. Scott Peterson out of Wales, but this is a featherweight fight, and Nathan Kelly, the Irishman here. Nathan Kelly, only 24 years old, 25 years old for Scott Peterson, so still very young in their careers. Nathan Kelly will be breaking down first out of SBG, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing anymore at all. I think that's maybe a warning sign, but we'll see if we're ready to completely bury that gym yet. But 3 straight wins after starting 0-2. Love to see that. You don't like to see losses early, but he got knocked out in a split decision. Seemed to kind of correct some things. Got back in there. Was off for a few years, and then has been active with 2 fights in 2021. One in August. Got a quick knockout with Clan Wars of an 0-1 opponent, so don't learn a lot there. But then took on a 6-0 Shamrock. So I wasn't able to find the exact fight. I was able to find a lot of Shamrock's fights, so I did watch more Shamrock tape than I was expecting to, and he looked like a good, crafty striker, honestly. Pretty legit win by Kelly. Wasn't able to see it, however. Clan Wars is not seeming to make their tape available. I'm finding, at least over here. So I had to go with a little bit more of looking into the opponents he faced, his overall kind of demeanor. He seems to be very, well-paced and everything. Sorry about the dogs, of course. And then Scott Peterson, I think, is much more kind of just fights a little more reckless. Honestly, he's 1-2, so he's still very young in his career. Lost his last time out to Nick Bagley. Not a bad fighter at all. I don't think even 1-0. But yeah, got rear naked choked. It was with Cage Warriors. He's been with Cage Warriors his whole career, then IMAFF as an amateur. So some good level of competition. So he's gone 1-2, but I still think he, really can mix this up very easily. I think this is going to be a very close fight, honestly. I think a lot of hype is behind Nathan Kelly after that Shamrock fight. So I could expect him to come in maybe a little overeager to show off the striking again. And I just could see Peterson taking him down, working the grappling and getting a finish here by submission or get a decision. Either way, I do think Peterson's the better of the grappler. Nathan Kelly much better of the two strikers. So it's who gets their game going. I'm going to side with Peterson, actually. I think he's going to upset a lot of the Irish faithful here. I think Kelly's going to come in a little bit overconfident and overextend on some of his strikes, and it's going to lead to some grappling for Peterson. 1-2, I'm not worried about that this early in the career, especially when it's all with Cage Warriors. And losing to Nick Bagley again, I think that Nick Bagley is going to be pretty good. So
Nick Bagley was the favorite going against Luke O'Neill.
Right, exactly.
From Manuel Cole, and then Next Generation kind of showed you Luke O'Neill's the real deal. So
yeah, but either way, like Luke O'Neill is very good, but I think Bagley's going to be good. So I'm going to side. I'm going to take a shot on Peterson here. I'm aware he's going to be an underdog, but I don't think that Kelly justifies a 3-1 price tag, which is what he's running over here.
No, I agree. Scott Peterson as well. If you watch that Nick Bagley fight, he's pretty much dominant in the first round. He gasses.
Right.
He's a grappler by trade. He's cornered by Jack Shaw. Jack Shaw knows Cage Warriors better than pretty much anyone. Fights out of the same gym as well.
Yep, Shaw mixed martial arts. I forgot to point that out. But these two gyms they have to be very familiar with each other at this point.
Yeah, especially in Cage Warriors as well. I would argue half of the fighters are from one or the other gym. Next Generation has a lot up in Liverpool. Calbon has a lot. Manchester top team, Great British top team now, and Shaw's making their name up there. He's got a lot of good amateurs, and Scott was one of them. He was a very good amateur. He won the you can see it in the picture there. He won the Cage Warriors amateur belt, which is a very hard belt to get. I just like him. I think he's a very good grappler, and I think Nathan Kelly is not tested. I think getting a 9-second win is very damaging. When you want experience in cage time, that's the one thing you don't want. Whereas someone like Luke O'Neill, I'll point him out because he's just the prime example right now. He gets 3 minutes before knocking you out. He gets 3 minutes to test himself, feel it out, get the crowd. He's got all the pressure, whereas he just hits him once and goes down. So I think Scott's record, 1-2, people look at that and go, oh, he's got more losses.
Yeah, exactly.
People lose 3 in a row first, and then,
Yeah, so we're not quite sure yet on either side, but yeah. We're both with
Scott. After seeing Scott live, I would favor Scott. I know he's a dog.
Yeah, and I definitely, at the value of plus 230, I think it's a worthy shot early on the card. I think that's a pretty steep price tag. And I mean, it's 3-2 versus 1-2 at the end of the day, very young in their careers. And I could definitely see Nathan Kelly coming in there and, getting the takedown defense up and outstriking him or knocking him out for sure. I think it's reasonable but I think this should be much closer.
I think it's a close fight. Yeah. 3-1 favorite is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah. So either way, I think it's a good fight, but I think we might be seeing the Irish go 1-1 to start out the night if I had to guess here, but we shall see. Third fight from the bottom. I am really, really excited for this heavyweight fight, which I do not say often on a prelim of a Bellator. That I'm excited about a heavyweight fight, but we obviously had Ahmad Kamal, yes. Mentioning Sirakam earlier. Gokhan, Sirakam taking on Kriel, Sidelik. I just can never, ever say it. Kriel, baby, also known as Baby Fedor. That's what I'm going to be referring to him as throughout. I apologize on the pronunciation. I will read a name over and over again and think I've got it, and then I start talking and smell toast. So either way, Gokhan Sirakam, I will be breaking down first. The Turkish fighter, really has been impressive from what I've gotten to see. 6'3", 76-inch reach, 235 heavyweight. So he's nice and light on the feet, but has plenty of pop to his shots. 2 straight KO finishes by ground and pound. The last one coming in 15 seconds of a 7-1 Charlie Milner. So definitely impressive, although short, both of his fights. But at heavyweight, I don't judge that as much as the other weight classes, I think you're probably similar. One loss coming to Steve Mowry. No shame there by Big Steve. Got Kimura in the second round. It was a good first round. Really good fight. Other than that, all stoppages, knockouts. Gokhan is in and out, very light on his feet. I love a cruiserweight 236 style heavyweight. I really think that's optimal, 236 to 246, 5 type of thing. I think more than that's too much. Less than that's obviously not enough. But yeah, he's looked really good in and out on his feet. He's exciting. Obviously, we saw the loss. You take him down, put him on his back, and make him defend grappling. That's the only, I think, the hope here for Creole. I don't think that Baby Fedor is going to have much success in the striking realm, especially early on. Maybe he survives the early onslaught, and then we see Siricom kind of gas. That's the other thing. But because I do think that Baby Fedor, his advantage is his experience. 13-6, 5'11", 74-inch reach. He comes into the fights right around 265, which I don't like to see out of him, honestly. But got a quick ground and pound win, but it was a Rab Truesdale. Pretty much a setup fight there. Domingo Barros, looked at him. It didn't look that impressive, even though he was 6-0. Looked like Baby Fedor should have ran through him, and it was a decision. I don't know. I haven't been too impressed with what I've seen since those 2 knockout losses. He's, I haven't gotten to see much, but yeah, knocked out against Pavlovich, I'm sorry, and then an Adam Kurish, who I'm not familiar with, but I remember was
at the time as well.
Yeah, and it was with Bellator. You've got to think that Gokhan's going to come in here and run shop early on. I just don't see a lot of ways that Baby Fedor makes this competitive, even if it goes 15. I think Siricom at 234, I can't think that the 264 cutting weight to make heavyweight Baby Fedor is going to extend the gas tank there. I don't think that's an advantage. I think he's going to have to grapple him and submit him in order to win this fight. Maybe ground and pound also could win, but you look at the submissions on Baby Fedor's record, 0. 1. He had a key lock of an 0-1 opponent. So I got to go with Siricom here. I look at the odds, and I'm just like, I can get it, minus 340. It's a little steep, but I can parlay that at least. I'm pretty reliable piece in Siricom. He's probably, so far of the 3, my most confident, honestly.
100%. I also think Baby Fedor is very chinny. I do think he's super susceptible, keeps his hands very low, head up, walks backwards, no head movement, and that's just going to play straight into Gokhan's favor. You know, he's got such heavy hands. It's really, as you say, he darts in and out light on his feet. I think it's going to be clinical. I think it could be early, to be honest. I think it could be a few minutes of just piecing him up. I don't see him cardio being an issue either, unless he just unloads and
that's what I'm saying. Adrenaline.
Has he ever turtled up and just defended that amount of shot? No, it just doesn't happen. So, I think Gokhan's going to pretty much handle him, get a decent name on his record, and move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like quite a respect from the odds makers. I was expected to be a tiny bit closer, but 3.5 to 1 against a guy who has a name in Creole, at least, I think still, but in triple the amount or double the amount of experience. So those are some X factors, but either way, yeah, we're here. I'm with it. Siricom here, third from the bottom. I think it's a really good fight. I'm excited for it. Next fight, this is one that was kind of announced last minute, but I'm actually excited for it. I like this. I like this guy quite a bit. Let me write down my timestamp so I don't forget. But yeah, I actually liked when I saw this fight. There's a couple fights that got taken off or changed that I was like sad about. This one, I'm pretty excited about both these guys. Danilo Scottisi, the Italian, 11-5 Italian, still only 28 years old, out of SBG Ireland. So a lot of SBG on here, taking on the Starry Oskal representative and Vladimir Tokov, one of the Tokov brothers, the Tokov at 155, 5-1 overall. I think this is going to be a very good fight, very competitive as well. I'm looking forward to this one quite a bit. I think this is one of the ones I got added that I'm very excited about, as I said. But Vladimir Tokov coming off of a loss in his last fight back in August of 2020. He was supposed to be set up back in October with Adman Gu, who I'm not familiar with. Gu was not medically cleared, so Tokov taken off that fight. So it's been a while. I mean, he lost to Chris Gonzalez in a very close split decision. No shame there at all. Back in August, it was a very good fight. Chris Gonzalez just pushed the wrestling a little bit more and than Tokov, which is how Chris Gonzalez wins every fight that he's in, other than that head kick, which just came out of nowhere. But other than that, decent level of competition he'd faced leading up to it. Nothing crazy. And with Scottisi, I think he's in, kind of a similar situation. I don't think Scottisi is as good of a wrestler, but he's going to want to grapple. That's what Scottisi does. He wants to grapple. He wants to mix it up. He's definitely a scrapper. 11-5. I don't be fooled by the record again. I think, he's looked really good in his last two, which he's won. Last fought in November of 2021. So he has fought more recently. Took on Brian Hui, very good fighter. In that fight, Brian was pretty heavily favored as well in that fight. And Scottisi showed he could deal with the physicality and get his grappling going himself, which was very impressive. His cardio, his tenacity, I really like a lot about him. Derailed the hype train of Gavin Hughes a little bit, which, Gavin Hughes is getting ready to fight, I think, coming up in London, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think so. May 15th.
Yeah, very good fighter, though, and a really good win to have on your record. Again, guillotine choke there. Took on Alfie Davis, lost to Alfie by decision. I don't rate that as a bad loss at all. Alfie Davis, a very good decision type of striker. And, Scottisi held his own on the feet, but he just couldn't get it to the ground. And that's when Scottisi can't get it to the ground, I don't think he's going to win a lot of fights. This is another one included. It's going to be tough. I've got to imagine Tokov has been working on that aspect of his game since that split decision loss to Chris Gonzalez. And, I really like Scottisi a lot. I really do. But I'm going to side with Tokov. I don't like the price at all. I'll just leave it at that. I'll take Tokov by decision. But I think it's going to be really close, and Tokov is like a minus 250 or higher favorite I'm seeing on places.
Wow.
So I just think it's way closer than that.
I agree. I think Scottisi's got a lot of crafty veteran tricks. You saw it.
And he's 20, and he's like in his 20s, 28 years old or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He showed it when he fought Hughes. He pulled out the guillotine. It's just so...
Sorry, minus 340 on Tokov.
Oh my
plus
God.
260 on Scottisi.
I'm gonna have to.
That's the same price. That's the same price as Saracom against Creel.
That's mental.
Yeah, it's really
they rate
interesting.
Tokov highly then, but yeah, I just think
Tokov name has a really good brand value in Bellator right now. Both of them. So I'm surprised. Really surprised.
I like Scottisi in this one personally. I think he's crafty. I think he's got a few tricks. He reminds me how he fights. I know he's a grappler by trade, but it's like the craftiness and the unorthodox style, like Gegard. It is similar, like how he actually strikes isn't clean necessarily. Like he doesn't plant a jab, he doesn't start with a low kick, nothing like that. It's just awkward, unorthodox kind of movement, Hermanson style, but with the grappling. So I like Scottisi in this. I think he could cause an upset. He likes causing upsets. Brian, who he fight, as you say. That guy's underrated, in my opinion. Gavin Hughes definitely had a lot of hype behind him. Stop that real quick. So 2 win streaks. There's a lot for confidence. He's going to have the crowd on his side as well. So I'm just going to try and throw all the things. All my thoughts are going, please let it be Scottisi.
Honestly, I mean, I picked Tokov, but like my heart says Scottisi, and definitely the price. I'm not playing Tokov for any.
When you see a price like that, it almost convinces you going, oh, well, he surely should win. But that's just I don't know how they priced it like that. Yeah,
I don't agree with that one at all. But we shall see. Appreciated MMA locker room. My guy Lugo is a beast. We'll be talking about him very shortly. But yeah, appreciate it, locker room. Thanks for stopping by. But next fight, 155, I believe, here between Junior Morgan and Dara. Kelly, is that I always have
Dara,
trouble with
yeah.
Dara Kelly. That's what I thought. But making his debut, been very, very heavily hyped, this guy. So there's a reason that 0-0 guys, fourth up, I guess, taking on a 3-0 guy in Junior Morgan. Testing him right away with the 36-year-old Manchester top team representative, 6'1". So he's got that long, lengthy striking style there. Taking on an SBG Ireland, Dara Kelly, 23 years old here. Breakdown Kelly first, had a very successful amateur career, of course. 9 straight wins there. Just never, all finishes. It's very. I just
want to say this guy is so fucking good.
Yeah, very impressive. Good. Yeah, guillotines, rear naked chokes, knee bars, 2 KOs also on there. So worked on the hands as well. Poor Carl Gallagher took him on twice. Just overall, I've been very, very hyped about this debut. It's supposed to happen in November of last year, and Morgan got concussion. And they're like, Morgan, you're not getting out of this. Get better from your concussion. You're fighting Dara Kelly, because Dara Kelly is going to also knock you out, I think. I don't like that this was put off due to a concussion and then put back on. This is Dara Kelly's show, but Junior Morgan, 3-0. He's got to stay on the outside, use the length, I think, very obviously. He's got a good Muay Thai clinch as well, so it's kind of made for it. Won a fight by an illegal knee in his last one. That's why he had, maybe that's the post-concussion syndrome he had, but he's faced a total of 1-4, 0-3, and 0-1. Dara Kelly is going to murder this guy.
Yeah. There's not much to add on that. Like, the guy has had an okay amateur background.
Mm-hmm.
If you add up his amateur and his pro as well, have a look at that, because it's like 4 wins altogether of 12 opponents. It's the guy's 36. He struggles to make weight. Mate, Dara's he's the hype train. You will see him in a couple of years headlining these shows. It's Dara's legit. I'm just absolutely love the guy, and I think it's going to be a real. However he wants to finish this, he will finish this, and we're going to see the new up and comer. And I'd be shocked if he doesn't kind of make some social media statement, like doesn't trend a little bit afterwards. And I'm surprised as well. I know he's making his debut professionally. I'm surprised he's this low down on the card, because Irish.
You're surprised he's this low down. I love it.
Yeah,
because he should be on the main. I think
he is known in gyms and his amateur career, and there's a lot.
I've heard a lot
stuff in Europe, so yeah.
No, it's all good, Alec. You're not late. You can always go back and watch later with timestamps eventually in there. And what up, Eddie? Good to see you, Grizz. I haven't seen you before, but thanks for stopping by. A lot of new names popping up. We always love to see it. But yeah, we're both with it here. Dara Kelly is a -4, only a -410. I think that's parlayable.
I'm shocked. Put him in your parlay. Yeah.
Put him. That is parlayed. That is a parlay piece. Dara Kelly and Siricom, put them both in. I get they're pricey, but at the same point, put them in. And then many bringing up bets, winning your bet, Edward. Yeah, of course. Call him Eddie, though. Calling Edward is just odd to see. He's Eddie. But either way, Dara Kelly, can't wait to see him in there. 5th from the top there. And we keep it going with another really exciting prospect. This prelim card is actually quite impressive. Really excited. Got to talk with this individual, but was going to get to talk with this individual, but she got busy with camp, and that's all good. I'll talk with her eventually. Dani McCormick, I'm talking about 5-0, taking on the 5-3 Stephanie Page. Really, really good. Really good stuff here. I think this is an excellent matchup here. Stephanie Page is a really interesting, fun striker. Not exactly the most well-rounded, however, and that's the issue for the 33-year-old out of France. But she's got really, really solid kickboxing. Has been on the short end of her last couple, losing her last 2. Her last one back in October of this year to Irene Alexieva. Irina Alexieva. That was a close fight, but Irina was just the more well-rounded opponent. Flora Hanai, I was also able to watch that. I'm quite familiar with Flora as well. There was another one where just mixing it up was just too, kind of the poison for Stephanie. When it's pure kickboxing bout, I think it can be competitive, especially with with Dani McCormick, she's going to go in there. She's going to take one and trade one. She is kind of not the most technical striker, but she's an animal when she gets in there. She really goes for it. Really fun to watch. And when the striking just isn't working, she does go to her grappling. She does go to her wrestling. So I just don't think Stephanie Page has the power to keep Dani from taking this fight where she wants to take it. I do think Dani's going to explore the stand-up quite a bit in this fight. I think she'll have probably success. She's a more powerful striker of the two, and I think it's pretty close. But, yeah, Dani, 31 years old, SBG Ireland, married to her coach, formerly Dani Nealon, sorry. 6 straight wins going back to her amateur career. Mostly goes to the decision, but has the rear naked choke and the ground and pound finish. Has fought her whole career with Bellator. She's going to, I think, do work on Paige and get a finish.
Yeah, I can see Paige kind of stealing around if she kind of keeps her at distance, maybe a higher volume, just keep the output going a little bit. You know, she might be able to steal around, but I think overwhelming her is what Dani's going to do. I think she's a kind of just a juggernaut for females in this sort of division. She's got really good technical boxing as well. She's got great. She can kind of dictate where she wants to go. I think she has a lot better pressure as well, cuts angles well. If she can get her against the cage, it's going to be a lot of tight clinching games. You could even get a trip down, hold of her around, steal around. I think I got Dani by decision, but I think Dani clear-cut winner. Yeah. Yeah,
and I mean, the other thing is Paige has one finish in her career also. So definitely more of a decision, technical type of striker. She could win a technical decision on defeat. I really could see that, but I think if it gets to that point, I think McCormick's going to be using her wrestling much more, not just looking.
Yeah, she'll mix it up. She's not stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. So very good fight here. And again, McCormick, I just think is an up-and-comer. Dani Nealon, if you're looking up her other fights, by the way. This is at strawweight. Get to the odds real quick. And McCormick, only a minus 190 against the plus 155. I like that quite a bit also. You can bet that by itself at that price too, which is nice. Minus 190. I'm kind of surprised it's that close. But again, I think there is a very realm of possibility where Stephanie Page steals a couple rounds and wins this also, or wins a couple rounds, not even steals them. So could be closer than I'm thinking, but I rate Dani McCormick pretty highly, and I'm expecting her to put on a good performance here. So I got Dani McCormick. Next fight is at 155, and this is possibly my fight of the night. I think this is going to be just fireworks. I love Davy Gallen. I really do. He's been fun to watch in his last couple of fights. Obviously, the rolling thunder kick of Ross Pearson is what put him on the map, but had a really good career prior to that. Had obviously a few losses, but faced really good levels of competition, and then beat Gegard Mousasi in his last fight, which I definitely picked that. But 32 years old for the Adrenaline Fight Team representative, 5'8", 68.5-inch reach, so very compact striker. But he definitely has not had any problems mixing up in there. 19-7-2 for the 32-year-old. He's on a 3-fight win streak currently, which is definitely been very impressive, honestly. Had the 2 finishes there of Ross Pearson and Sidney Machado before Gegard Mousasi. He's been knocked out a few times in his career, in his losses, but definitely a very tough fighter. And against Gegard Mousasi, it was just his forward pressure. But he's going against a guy named Charlie Leary, who also is just kind of a tank and going to be footing. These guys really mirror each other in a lot of ways, except Charlie Leary is a little bit longer of a fighter here at 6 foot, has a 72.5-inch reach, but also 17-11-1. So both guys kind of got you don't see these records too often in MMA. It's interesting. 39 years old. So, getting close to father time, but coming off of a win in his last fight against Kiefer Crosby. He just worked him. He survived the barrage and put it on him, boxed his ears in, and then Kiefer was like, no more after the first round. I think this is just going to be a war. Honestly, I think these guys are going to stand and bang. This is going to be old school. I think it's going to go the full 15. Both guys, I think, get bloody. Your guess is as good as mine. Honestly, I think these guys match up so closely together. I'm going to edge towards Charlie Leary just ever so slightly. I think he's still got a little bit of time left. The pop behind his shots, I think, is going to be I think the difference, if I had to pick in how the judges see it, I think sometimes Davy Gallen, although he had the Rolling Thunder, I get it, sometimes is, a little more volume, while I think maybe the impact isn't behind. But I don't know. It's so close. It really is. I think this is a super close fight. I love both fighters. I'm going to take Charlie Leary by decision.
I can't pick against Charlie ever. I've trained with him, so.
Oh, interesting.
He trains at Crossface in Watford, which is
okay.
It's maybe like 40 minutes from where I live. Anyway,
right on.
John Gooden trains there. Commentator Sam Patterson, who's fighting in Brave in a couple of weeks, who's a monster. I love Sam Patterson. You'll see his name pop up in the UFC soon. I guarantee that. But Charlie Leary's just a beast. He's a proper old school kind of fighter in MMA.
Such a good fight. This fight is so good.
I love it. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a grueling. I think the third round they're going to be just Dada 5000 Kimbo Slice swinging with no energy left. But
yeah, and if anything, so who would you favor in the gas in this fight?
Charlie. Charlie's the
39-year-old.
Charlie's a fit 40-year-old, basically. Yeah,
yep.
He's an extremely good physical, Nick.
I could
easy peasy as well.
Yeah, I could I'm really looking forward to this fight. I was expecting.
He doesn't use the range though. He doesn't use his range.
No, they're going to stand in the phone booth and just throw. Yeah,
and I always favor. That's Charlie's kind of fight. He likes to stick his head on your chest and throw hooks constantly. So
does Davey.
Never, if he fought Kamaru Usman, I would back Charlie Leary. I can't go against him.
Okay, that's noted. I would not, but when I saw the odds, I was a bit surprised. Minus 190 for Davy Gallen, plus 150 on Charlie Leary. I
can understand it.
I'm quite surprised.
Yeah,
I'm quite surprised. I've liked how Charlie Leary's been looking a lot. So here we go. I got another underdog at plus 150 in Charlie Leary over Davy Gallen. I really like both guys. I remember your chat as well told me I was a bit crazy last time for picking him against in his last fight out, and he won. Yep. So Those are all.
Got to back Charlie.
Yeah, I'm backing Charlie here as well, and I haven't trained with him, so this is just purely based on.
I got choked unconscious by him actually, so it's even better.
Yeah, it's a very close fight. I think I think both guys have the ability to finish. Both guys have the ability to win a decision, and I think it should be a pick'em. So I'm signed with the dog. Next fight at bantamweight, another good, really, really good fight. Brett Johns taking on Krakarov. Really impressive bantamweight matchup here. Just Brett Johns getting no easy fights in Bellator, but Krakarov really taking a huge step up here for the Tajikistan, a fighter of Germany, now 30 years old, 8-0 for the killer Krakarov. He last fought in October this year with Bellator, being Jair Jr. Went to a decision there. Before that, had finished all of his opponents inside of the distance, obviously, all by knockouts, other than one decision. So, he was kind of, I think, expected to look better against Jair than he did, but he did what he had to do. He won. I think didn't look completely comfortable in his Bellator debut. I'm interested to see how he looks in his sophomore campaign. However, he's going against, I think, one of the toughest bantamweights you can be matched up with. Plain and simple, I think Brett Johns is going to have his way in this fight. I think he's going to put Krakarov on his back early and often. And my real question is, do I want to bet Johns by decision or do I want to bet Johns by finish? Because the overall price on him is just, decent, but I'm pretty confident in this one. So I like Brett Johns quite a bit. I do think that the striking of Krakarov in the knees could be an issue, however, if Johns gets kind of labored and starts to go in on the takedowns. I'm interested to see how Johns looks rebounding from the Sabatello loss. But the way that Sabatello beat him is not the way Krakarov is going to go about this. Prior to that, went 2-2 went much better than 2-2 in the UFC. But went 5-2, right?
Was it 5?
But
Three,
or 4-2,
5-2.
Right? Yeah, 5-2 because he started with 5-2 in the UFC.
Oh yeah, Tony, I forgot about Gravely.
Yeah, losing to Sterling and Munoz by decision.
And both super competitive.
Yeah, really competitive. And again, the way that Sabatello won that fight, not the way Krakarov goes into this fight. I've got to think that Johns is able to use the wrestling to get it done. Johns is a -198, -200 favorite. Krakarov +160. I think that's a decent price and parlayable. I was expecting it to be higher, so I'll take Johns.
I'd be shocked if Johns didn't win this. I really would. He would, in my opinion, be ranked 7-8 in the bantamweight division right now in the UFC. Brett Johns is really good. I don't think he was himself in the Sabatello fight. He kind of didn't stick to the game plan that was yelled at him in the corners. Kind of diverted a little bit, and it kind of showed. He kind of zoned out a little bit. I disagree with his leaving of the UFC. I know he's done it for money. He's getting paid more in Bellator, and that's what he wants. But you'd get paid more if you got up the ranks in the UFC. Give it a chance, almost.
Right.
Brett's got wicked submission game. He's got great hands. I can see. I think he could finish him, but I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit with it and edge towards decision because it's a 3-rounder. So I think Brett Johns can comfortably take all 3 rounds, though. I don't see how Krakarov can really punish him for anything. The power. He hits stationary targets. Brett moves really well. And he does weird shit like Imanari rolls. Kind of fights like Ryan Hall a little bit. So he's going to be real hard to hit.
I like him quite a bit. Parlayable for sure. I honestly on the prelims, I think Siricom with Dara Kelly and Dani McCormick and Brett Johns. That's a 4-piece parlay that you can get to start out the prelims. That's going to get you into plus money. And I think it's quite reliable. It's going to get you well into plus money at that. So I would take those 4. That leads us to the main card. I'm almost less excited for the main card than I was for the prelims. That's happening a lot lately. But it's the truth. I think that prelim card is outstanding. So you're definitely going to want to be tuning in. It's starting at local time for Ireland. So it's going to be like 2:00 over here in the States on YouTube that you want to tune in. So next fight is starts out the main card. Very, very excited to be breaking down one of this guy's fights once again in Brian Moore taking on Jernell Lugo. This is Brian Moore just is such a badass. Like, can I just say that? He fights everybody. Still gave AJ McKee Jr. his toughest fight in Bellator. I'll say that every time I break it down. And until it's not true. Taking on the 7-0 Jernell Lugo, 14-8 for Brian Moore, but there's a reason. But 34 years old now for the bantamweight, taking on the 26-year-old here out of Florida, who weighed in at 137 for his last fight in Jernell Lugo. So definitely right away, I think the weight is very tough for Lugo to make. He's huge for this weight class, massive and tall. 5'9", 73-inch reach. That's great and all, but I'm not sure if he can make bantamweight. And when he does, I'm not sure how well he's going to be able to perform, in all honesty. Got the finish of Keith Lee in his last fight. Before that, faced Cass Bell. So these guys, not guys I rate too highly. It was a catchweight of a 140 bout for his last fight. And he got to 137. So I would think he can make it down to 135. Still young in his career, but overall, mostly a decision fighter, but very well-rounded, good strikes, good grappling, got the rear naked choke at the end against Keith Lee. With anytime you get a buzzer beater submission, it really does let you know how good you were. Was supposed to take on Tommy Espinosa in December. That got canceled. Now he's getting a much tougher test in Brian Moore, by far the toughest test of his career. When I'm talking Lugo here, 14-8 for Brian Moore, the Pikeman. Lost his last fight out back in October 2021. SBG Ireland faced Nikita Mikhailov. We saw how good he looked his last time out. Went to a decision with him. Prior to that, took out Jordan Winsky. Good 11-2 fighter. Just out grappled him, outworked him. Simone Diana got the right hook finish. I mean, he's faced a really good test of opponents overall in his career. He's been at featherweight at times, coming down to bantamweight. I think is a brutal cut for him at this point in his career. I don't think it does him much favors, but he's just physically outgunned. He's just kind of stuck here. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Lugo here, but I think the price is insane, and just gonna have to watch this because Lugo is. Let me just make sure I have this correct. Yeah, a minus 410 favorite for Lugo, plus 300 on Brian Moore. So tempting, but I can't do it.
I'll do it.
Oh my god!
I love
All
Brian
right,
Moore
tell me how Brian
Moore
Moore wins this fight against Janelle Lugo.
He's got to outgas him here. Lugo's
Yeah.
going to load up on shots, and he's someone that Brian's real difficult to finish in any way. Knock him out, TK, whatever. It's hard to hurt because he's hard to. He has such a good defensive shell. It's his output that kind of lets him down a little bit. But I feel if he can gas Lugo out, which is more than doable, he's not proven. He's fought guys that are okay, but yeah, many. I'm with yeah. There you go. If that doesn't show it, I do think he can use the experience. You know, he's fought very, very good competition. That record just, see, Lugo's legit. He could be. I'm not convinced personally.
This is a fight that really convinces me if he wins.
Yeah, if he smashes Brian Moore to pieces, fully on board. But
and I'm fully off board Brian Moore. More so.
I'll never be off. Nah, never be off. It's 34 years old. But again, they both should be a weight class higher. But yeah, I'm going to go with Moore. I think he could drown him. I think the Lugo should be a favorite based on the hype.
This is just way too much.
I think Brian's a very difficult challenge for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, could be complete. He could completely Jalen Bates him up.
Man. Well, Jalen Bates, gets the 4 digits, not to minus 400. Jalen Bates is a minus 1,000. So there's that. Yeah. But my boy Jalen Bates, new breed, coming. But yeah, Janelle Lugo, I'm going to take him here.
I'll take him by a late sub, Brian Moore as well.
I got Lugo by a decision, gritting it out maybe a little bit, but minus 410 is asinine wrong. So the next fight of the night taking place at the featherweight division. Let's see. There we go. Let me just make sure I have all of the syllables here of Casan Magomedsharipov, brother of Zabit, taking on Jose Sanchez here. We got to see Casan a little while ago. Jose Sanchez 11-1 for the Spanish fighter. 5'9", much more compact, but definitely a powerful guy. You can see very, very good shape for the Spaniard here. Coming off of a loss, it was his first loss of his career. At EPF back in June to Felipe Maya, got guillotine choked in that one. Prior to that, strong grappler for the most part, getting rear naked chokes or decisions in his fights. Had a punch finish as well. Faced a decent level of competition, but see a lot of 7-14s, 8-9s. Was supposed to face Jay Cucunello a few times, which we do know from the Ultimate Fighter. Then Corona happened, so got canceled. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Was supposed to face Damon Azorkowski back in October, and then Sanchez detained at an English airport due to COVID. So has had a lot of COVID issues in his career, so hopefully those are behind him. But Casan Magomedsharipov, brother of Zabit, going to have Zabit in his corner. Looks just like Zabit, kind of fights like him, but more kick-heavy. Still only 21 years old, 7 straight wins going back to his amateur career. But yeah, definitely got the ground and pound finish, rear naked choke. He's Zabit. He's just like Zabit, but 21. Looked really good in his Bellator debut. Got into the second round. It was a 3-4 opponent. Now he's going to an 11-1 opponent. But I'm not sure how great this 11-1 is. Seems a little bit, shall I say, padded, if you will. Casan, I think, runs through him here. And wait till I read the odds to you.
Oh, blimey. Okay. I see. I think Casan is also the same as Jose. They both haven't fought anybody.
Yeah.
It's just, but the only reason I'm going to back Casan in this,
the last name.
a little bit, but it's because how he's finishing them, the
Mhm.
technique doing. He's not getting touched at all.
Yeah.
Like he moves exactly the same way. He's got brilliant trips. He's got extremely good grappling for someone that's so taekwondo heavy. I just like the guy, and I'm going to contradict everything I said in the Brian Moore thing about experience and could drown him and stuff. But I'm going to go Casan because he's just. I want people like this that are so fluid and fun to watch to succeed. Whereas Jose for me is, I just don't like his face for a start. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah. a little douchey looking. It looks a little douchey.
No, I'm joking about that. But yeah, I just I like Casan for it.
Yeah, Jose is much more rigid, while Casan is pretty fluid.
I'm assuming Casan is a crazy favorite just based on the surname as well.
Yeah. And can Jose wrestle? I mean, that's what he's gonna have to do here. He's certainly gonna have to in order to win this fight. I don't think he really can have the wrestling to take this one, but the odds prevent me from ever even touching this fight. Casan Magomedsharipov is a minus 1,200 favorite.
Blimey.
A 12-1 favorite against an 11-1, coming off of a win against a 3-4 opponent. I just take a sprinkle at the plus 700 of Jose?
I think
Sanchez?
so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They're both untested here. Jose Sanchez is not dust here. This
could be a big tuna kind of moment, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, get him to the ground and sink in a rear naked choke and squeeze. He's 21 years old. How much has he truly seen or been tested? Also, not to judge the pictures here, it looks like Jose has some grown man strength to him, possibly.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it's like frame is of a child still.
Right. So exactly. He's like literally still developing. Minus 1,200. Chill out. Plus 700.
That's mental.
Let's let it keep going. Hopefully it raises up and I can get like a plus 1,000 bet on Jose. Because if I get that, I'll put 100 down. I'm willing to lose $100 on that.
Oh, bloody hell. I wouldn't go that crazy.
Fuck it.
Might be like £1.
No, fuck it. Like, I don't want to win that bet and then have the regret. And if I lose it, I've wasted $100 at the bar. Way worse than that. So
if you can afford to lose it.
Yeah. Dude, bet at your own discretion there. But I would not suggest betting on Jose Sanchez in all seriousness. I'm probably just going to leave this alone, honestly. Casan is going to run through him. But those odds are nutty. Nutty. Next fight on the card, another fight at the 145 division here, also known as featherweight division. Kieran Clark taking on Abu Tukara. And then, about to say man versus, see, this is why you tune in, Visceral. Oh, I mean, if you're betting on Jose, you got to bet on the grown man strength here. That's said
it better than me as well. I said child. Boys probably
yeah. Either way, we don't want to identify Casan's gender for him. But Abu Tukara, I'm kidding. Abu Tukara out of France here, 7-2, taking on the 4-0 SPG Ireland. Take a shot at home, everybody. Kieran Clark. The whole gym's fighting to know this weekend, apparently. But Abu, I will be breaking down first here. The Frenchman, 32 years old, 7-2 overall, 5'10", fighting out of Atch Academy. Not too familiar with that spot at all. Last fought in October of 2021. Got KO'd in the Super League by 13-2-1 Sabah Bolgahi. No shame there. However, before that, faced a 19-26 opponent. They won by injury with Soko Fighting Championships. Before that, Brave CF at least, but it was a 0-0 opponent he faced, knocked him out. Had a knee injury, forced him out of a fight with a 6-5 opponent. Before that, KO's a very, very heavy hitter for the most part. Kill or be killed, it appears. Did have a knee injury, but the other fight was knocked out in. Kieran Clark coming in with a whole bunch of hype here for sure. 4-0, however, for him. So still pretty untested. Last fought in November of 2021. Beat a 6-1-1 Jordan Barton. Very impressive fight, back and forth in that one. Got to finish in the third round. He has 2 rear naked chokes in the third round. Like to see that. The Jean and Doi fight is a very good indicator of, I think, how he's going to approach this fight. But John Ndoye, not exactly the most lethal striker, a little more on the technical side. I think Abu's more going to go in there and look for the finish, and definitely could do that. But I'm going to take Kieran Clark in this one, control with the grappling for the most part. Maybe look to mix up the stand-up once Abu's a little more fatigued. But, yeah, Kieran Clark should handle this one. Just got to avoid the power early on.
Striker v grappler, who do I go for? It's pretty
know
much
that.
it. We know that one. Yeah, it's got to be Kieran for me. I think he can avoid the power. He can land the takedowns. Abu's got a really bad gas tank as well. So
yeah, and Kieran's way more tested even at 4-0.
Yeah, he's got a really weird record for amateur, but that's because of the tournaments in IMAFF.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tournament system. You get paid for doing it, as I said before. So a lot of the people in there are pros essentially, but they're fighting, but they don't turn pro. So it's a really weird up and down record. But the Ndoye fight was the one that tested me, going, he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready for it. So
and that's before Ndoye fell off a cliff, which he's now off. Ndoye's completely done.
100%. He pushed him off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think and the reason he's Coco main, he's third from the top. There's a reason for it. He's got some hype behind him. John Cavan is the best. He's the GOAT. So, but no, there's a lot of SBG. He's going to have the crowd backing him as well. The Irish hate the French as well, which is a big thing. So if you ever go to these events and there's French guys there seems to be always fights with those two. So, I got to go Kieran as well.
Yeah, Kieran, and if I would add him to my 4-piece parlay from the prelims, if you wanted a 5-piece extender, I would do 4. And build it off, because Kieran is a -410 favorite. I think it's warranted. I think it's a puncher's chance for Abu, and that's about it. But very good fighter here in Kieran Clark, I think, as we go on here. Next fight is the co-main event now. Peter Quelly got injured. He was going to be a -700 favorite against Gegard Mousasi, and I was going to have to try to convince myself somehow to bet Gegard Mousasi. Thank God that was avoided for my wallet and just for my mental health. However, we now have Leah McCord taking on Sinead Kavanagh in the co-main event of Bellator here. Sinead Kavanagh, she can swing leather, man. She can swing some leather, but she's 7-5 out of where? SBG Ireland, taking on SBG Charleston. I believe Leah McCord has since moved on from that gym, but 7-5 Sinead Kavanagh. KO is her nickname. KO is what she tries to do and tries to avoid having done to her. Has not fought since she fought Cyborg, and that was only in November. Honestly, kind of surprised she's making the return this quickly from the shot she took against Cyborg, but fair enough. Before that, had won 2 straight with Bellator over Olga Rubin. She knocked her out, 6-1 fighter, and then took on Katharina Lenner, another solid fighter at 7-2, got the decision. She likes to work the boxing, likes to mix it up, has a majority loss to Leslie Smith. You don't like to see that. Janae Harding opened her up. Leah McCord, though, does not have the best of striking at all. She gets quite lit up on the feet. Her last fight against Janae Harding, she had to resort to an up kick and then had a really amazing triangle to finish the fight. Definitely a good grappler, though, and she's very physical also, Leah McCord is. She's been tested since her debut. Her debut was against Minot, I believe. No, her second fight was against Ferro. Sorry. Got knocked down in her first fight and then beat Manon Ferro in her second fight. So really impressive fight there against a very good stand-up technician. Leah is just kind of gritty, likes to put a pressure on her opponents, get them against the cage, work for takedowns, get the back, eventually get a submission or something. Has faced not the craziest level of competition since her last fight was against not a super impressive Jessica Borga. And honestly, Jessica kind of pushed her quite a bit in that fight. But Jessica is more of a grappler. Sinead is going to go in there and look to get the knockout. I don't think she's going to get it. I like Leah McCord in this fight to kind of lean and work the takedowns, and I think has better cardio as this fight goes on as well.
Yeah, I think her hands are aren't as bad, maybe, as you said. But
yeah, I might have been a little rough there, but they're not great.
they're not great, but she has good enough striking to implement a takedown. She can pull guard. And again, as you said with Ferro, I'm pretty sure Ferro's were like 8 or 9-1 now. Like,
yeah, she's gonna
be that in
she's
their
really
debuts.
good. She's really good.
She's developed really well. I think the reason Leah McCord is co-maining is because they're trying to push her. I know she's Northern Irish, but it's the Dublin. They're pushing Sinead there because she's from Dublin. There's no other reason.
And she's marketable.
Event. Yeah.
She's depending on who you ask. I'm not saying that's not my opinion. They think she is. I think very clearly. They constantly have her on the broadcast. They're constantly like pushing her social media. Like
the one if she didn't fight, I would actually pick Sinead if she hadn't just fought Cyborg and got KO'd. That's pretty much my pick. The only reason I'm going to back Leah is because she's going to be the fresher fighting coming into this, and she's a grappler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think Sinead, if she catches her, Leah better watch her. Mind her P's and Q's, because
I mean this is a complete pick 'em according to the odds right now. So they definitely agree with kind of what you're saying.
I back that. Sinead is way better than her record suggests. Way better.
That's very true.
Leah is also, like, each time you see her, she's just grown so much. And
if we see Leah with her back to the cage, I'm switching to Sinead right away. Because if Sinead gets her in that position where she can start to unload with the strikes, I really can see her overwhelming Leah and putting her away. I think Leah has to be moving. Leah has to be the more active, more volume. And
I think you're going to see a stiff jab into a single leg. That's what I think
that's what you need to see.
But I will ask you this: if Leah does win, does that mean she fights Cyborg?
Oh God, no.
Who else is there?
I mean, yeah, I guess
this
so.
Is the toughest fight in Bellator women's until Cyborg. That's it. Yeah. Leah versus Cyborg, then Cyborg kills Leah. That's over.
Yeah. Minus 110 each side. I'm glad I can bet Leah straight up here. And just, that's what I'm going to do. I do think it's going to be a decision for her. Leah McCord takes this one, but Sinead definitely, I see a spot where Sinead gets the KO as well. But yeah, not crazy about Sinead taking this fight so soon after what Cyborg did.
I'm going to try and convince you with my hardest in this next one.
Okay, so that means we kind of have an idea where he's going in the next one, but it is our main event of the evening, a fight that you can check out on Norton MMA right now. He's done a full breakdown on this fight. It's really outstanding, and looks into both guys and makes some very good things I'm going to try not to repeat here. But yeah, Gegard Mousasi taking on Austin Vanderford here for the 185 belt, 48-7-2 against 11-0. That is just, Mousasi's record is just incredible. Mousasi really may be one of the best of all time, and we just don't quite understand or know it. And that's my own opinion on it. But 31-year-old Austin Vanderford, the gentleman, 15 straight wins going back to his amateur career, not to be slept on at all. Last couple wins coming over Vinicius, De Jesus, and Fabian Edwards, however. And that is quite a step up in competition. And it's not quite his fault, but it is a result still. I mean, going from those two guys to Gegard Mousasi, Fabian Edwards, I'll be honest, I'm not sure how good that guy is at all. But everybody who he's been tested against, whether it was the Contender Series where he got the rear naked choke win and for whatever reason, Dana let him walk. And since then, he's just put on great performances, arm triangle finish in his Bellator debut. He's had stoppages, been tested against good level of opponents. He's fought who's in front of him. Wish I could have saw that Chris Curtis fight. Really wish I could have saw that. That would have been awesome to see, but Curtis tested positive for COVID. That's why De Jesus stepped in last second. So he did what he had to do, but I would have liked to see a finish of a De Jesus personally. But either way, that's nitpicking. Really, really great forward wrestling. His striking is, effective enough. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people like to say. And again, 15 straight wins going back to the amateur career. He's been successful. He's tested himself in the grappling bouts as well. And Gegard Mousasi, I mean, dream catcher. I don't know what there is to really say about him. He's one of the best to do it ever. And I think that definitely getting to middleweight might be a little bit of a challenge as he's advancing his career. 36 years old, 6'2", 76-inch reach. He's good everywhere, good striker, good ground and pound. Really kind of drained John Salter before taking him down and putting him away. Wins over Lima and Machida being the other two, his previous two. The last guy to really test him with regards to the grappling and pressure grappling was Lovato Jr., though, and he did get the majority decision. Sometimes Gegard can get a little bit extended in the cardio department as the fight goes on. He's getting a little advanced. I could see some arguments, but I mean, I'm not going against Gegard here. I'm just not. But I want to hear your arguments. Gegard is only a minus 220 favorite. I'll say that. So the odds makers are giving Vanderford a very real shot here at plus 170.
I'd say exactly why. And it's every single time he loses, he gets out grappled. Mm-hmm. He lost to Mohamed Law, who is a wrestler. Machida, different. But again, in his last fight against Machida, the rematch, he looked crap. I think he looked awful. Jacare choked him. Against Weidman slammed him to the ground multiple times before the illegal, the controversial decision anyway. But the thing is with the Lovato Jr. fight, Rafael is not a mixed martial artist. He's got a phenomenal record and he had to retire due to obviously health reasons.
The brain issues, yeah.
Yeah. But he's not a mixed martial artist. He is one of the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioners of modern day. And he's not a wrestler either. A non-wrestler that was late 30s took down Gegard every single round for 5 rounds and was exhausted from round 3 onwards and still took him down. I think Gegard Mousasi looked pretty average against Douglas Lima. I think Rory McDonald, I'm counting that out because he is 30 pounds heavier than Rory McDonald on fight night. That was a mismatch completely. But Austin Vanderford is a phenomenal wrestler. He uses extremely good top pressure. Extremely good. Fabian Edwards is a big dude and a heavy dude, and he took him down at will. Yeah. Austin Vanderford has great hands. He's got great chokes. What I want to take you to is... I'm going to try not to repeat all of what I said on my breakdown, obviously. But
no, I get it.
He tapped Richie Martinez. Yeah. Richie Martinez in the grappling world is Boogie. Boogie and Gio, if you don't know who that is. They are phenomenal 10th planet grapplers. They got their black belts within 18 months. They were doing it 12 hours a day every day for nearly 2 years and that's how they got their black belt so quick. They did it as quick as BJ Penn, essentially. He choked him with an arm triangle and pretty much was never in danger for that whole fight. And they represent everything to counter a wrestler top pressure with the rubber guard and the sweep system. He's just got such good pressure. I think his gas tank is phenomenal. I think unless he gets cracked early, which Gegard never does anymore, he doesn't hurt you striking that, like a one-punch knockout. He's a volume guy. I think I really like Vanderford in this. I think he can take him down, and I think he could tap him as well. I think he could finish this fight. I've been called mental in my comments. There's a few people that see my path and see my logic. I've done so much research into Vanderford on this one. I do really like the guy as well. I respect his mixed martial arts career rather than his wife's OnlyFans, essentially. So I'm gonna go with Vanderford on this. I don't know what are the odds for this because when I was
minus 220 for Mousasi. So I think a lot more people are seeing your side than let on. Plus 175 on Vanderford.
I think you'll see a new man. I think you'll see a new champ. Yeah,
you put together a good argument. I did really like how he looked in the Salter fight.
That's John Salter though. If you're Gegard's ready for Austin almost with John Salter, that's just not I can't have that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Does Austin beat any of those top guys that Gegard just beat? Does he beat John Salter? Does he beat Douglas?
Yeah, he beats all
of them. So the only person I think he also beats Gegard. I just think he is the best I think he would be very competitive in the UFC as well with that style. Lovato Jr. took him down at will.
He did.
And he's not a wrestler. What's a wrestler going to do to him?
Yeah,
He's getting on. He hasn't got the power. You said he lacks cardio. It's just 5 rounds. Austin's ready for this.
man, you're making good arguments.
I'm trying to convince you.
You've convinced me. I'm gonna stick with you. Have convinced me not to bet Mousasi very much, if any. Honestly, I'm not gonna bet him at all now. All of a sudden, minus 220. See, you've convinced me to not bet him. You have not walked me completely off. I'm gonna rely on the 57 fight. I'm just not ready to say Mousasi's done. And I get a loss to Vanderford. I know. I was just gonna say I get that doesn't mean it. I think this is the one that Mousasi takes, but really good argument. And again, the breakdown over on Norton MMA. Go check it out. Go check out all of it.
Go leave some hate. Go leave some hate.
Yeah, leave some hate. He can handle it. But either way, really, really good argument there. Vanderford is an amazing wrestler, especially compared to his opponents. Visceral said that. Now I'm all of a sudden much more nervous. And, we saw last week just kind of relying on a brand of the Gracie, and then it was the wrestling in Storley. Again, we could see it again back-to-back weeks. Before we take off, I will do a quick picks and then just give you a chance to mention anything coming up on the channel for you. But starting at the bottom, then we get here. Starting with the 1-0 Lee Hammond against Jamie Haye. I have Lee Hammond. I'm getting a finish there.
I've got to back Lee Hammond on this one.
Yeah. Scott Peterson and Nathan Kelly at 145. I think it's going to be a very good fight. And I'm edging with Scott Peterson to use his grappling. Get the upset.
Yeah, more of a nervous pick, and it's a weird one. But yeah, I'll go Scott as well.
Yeah, prelim. Next one, heavyweight matchup. Gokhan Sarikam is going to run through Baby Fedor. First round knockout for me.
Same here.
All right, 155. Daniel Scottisi against Vladimir Tokov. Very, very close. Very, very close fight. I'm edging towards Tokov ever so slightly, but I think Scottisi is the bet here if you're making one.
Yeah, I'm going Scottisi as well. Decision. Crafty veteran.
Yep, it's going to be a good one. Next one, 155, Dara Kelly against Junior Morgan. Junior Morgan coming off the concussion. Dara Kelly really looking to be show the hype is real. I think it is. Dara Kelly gets the knockout.
Dara Kelly v. Murder, yeah.
Yep. Next fight, 115, Dani McCormick, Stephanie Page. I like Dani McCormick to mix it up and get a decision win.
Same here.
All right, Charlie Leary, David Gallen, my fight of the night. And I got David Gallen edging this one out over 3 rounds.
Charlie, all day, right. Charlie.
All right, that's a good one. And another upset. Brian Moore or Brett Johns against Krakarov at 135. I like Brett Johns to implement the wrestling and work him.
I'm going to get Brett Johns submission, late submission.
All right, Brian Moore against Janelle Lugo to start the main card. I got Janelle Lugo by a decision.
Brian Moore through sheer cardio.
Yeah, that is a hard pick right there. Jose Sanchez against Casan Magomedsharipov, the biggest favorite of the night. Casan Magomedsharipov is my pick, but I might sprinkle Jose Sanchez if he gets to plus 800.
Yeah, if it goes that crazy, I think you should. But Casan, yeah, let's go Casan.
Yeah. 145, Kieran Clark against Abu Tukara. Kieran Clark works the wrestling, gets a finish, I think, late in the second or third.
Yep, I think by third round. Yeah.
And then Leah McCord, Sinead Kavanaugh. I like Leah McCord in this spot. I really do. I think she gets the decision win.
Yeah, I think she's smart enough to know where her strengths are. So Leah McCord decision for me.
And Gegard Mousasi taking on Austin Vanderford. He made a great argument. He talked me out, really suggesting you betting Mousasi in this spot. I'm going to take Mousasi to still take this one. And I'm going to say Mousasi gets a ground and pound finish or some sort of TKO finish.
Yeah, I just think no a chance for me. I think Vanderford's the new guy. Yeah, I got Vanderford by. I'm going to go round 4 or 5 sub, but probably decision. Man. Probably decision. I think he'll lay in frame. John Fitch style. You would
love to see that finish. That would make you look very good. But that will do it for the Bellator 275 breakdown. OV Locke saying Leah McCord at minus 110 is a steal. I don't disagree there. I think she should be more of a favorite, especially when you're coming off a cyborg knockout. That's like a different kind of brain rattling effect there. And then the LFA breakdown, Visceral, will be tomorrow. I'm going to do the LFA and then the Challenger Series back-to-back with Lucky Locks picks. We're going to do those. By the way, we went 4-0 on the first week of the PFL Challenger Series. So let's see if we can keep that going. But LFA and PFL Challenger Series tomorrow, starting at 3 p.m. Visceral. So around the same time we started today. But before we go, Lewis of Norton MMA, tell people kind of what, if they're unfamiliar, first of all, go subscribe over to Norton MMA, please. It's a great source of information and just a ton of stuff. There's recaps over there, matchups. Tell people about what's coming up on the channel overall.
Yeah, just some more matchups. We've got Curtis Blades, Chris Daukaus out tomorrow, be midday, so morning for anyone in the States.
Yep.
Thiago Santos, Magomed, and Kalive's on there. We've got the Bobby Green Islam full breakdown. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Brian Kelleher. They're all the recent ones. We've got some more coming up. Hopefully some more MMA shows. And UFC London's coming up in a month now, so prepping for that. I'm going to break down the entire card on that one, and normally leave the breakdowns for the cards to you. So
and then UFC recaps every Monday. Yep, and he has all sorts of different guests on there. It's definitely very good, and appreciate the love. OV 740 Locks, Aaron and Norton, two of the best. Thanks for the breakdown. Absolutely. Visceral, thank you for always being here, man. Appreciate it. Best of luck, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon for the LFA and PFL Challenger Series. Keep taking care of each other out there. Peace out.